Welcome back to Sonny Talk Spurs, and today we're going to be answering the question, is Daniel Levy the perfect owner? But before we get into this one, if you are new to the channel, why don't you leave a like on the video, subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs and hit that notification bell because it'll let you know when I've gone live. And also, later on in the video, I'll be telling you how you can become a member of Sonny Talk Spurs. But now, let's get into the video. So this video was inspired by a number of different things, but mainly the current state of football. We know what has been going on in the Premier League and across Europe. FFP is rife. And obviously, if you don't know what FFP is, it's also known as financial fair play. We see in English football and across Europe, UEFA, FIFA, different organisations, the FA, the Premier League, are trying to regulate football spending. And with FFP, you basically can't spend more than your losses in, simple terms. So we've seen the likes of Everton be punished now twice for FFP. We've seen Nottingham Forest. We've got Manchester City with their 115 separate charges. And also Chelsea are under the microscope as well. Newcastle, they've been questioned because, they might not be able to spend as much as they thought in the first place with their Saudi owners. They might actually have to sell some players. So at the moment, it's pretty much a lot of football clubs are treading on eggshells when it comes to spending. They don't want to spend too much. They don't want to breach financial fair play because we've seen points deductions can happen. Everton have got minus 10 points deduction this season. But, other things could happen. Manchester City being touted for relegation. But in now conjunction to what the main point of this video about Daniel Levy and his ownership is the fact that when it comes to Tottenham Hotspur, apart from the Jermaine Defoe news from a couple of, weeks back that broke, but that's a separate situation, nothing to do with financial fair play. Tottenham, touch wood, play by the book. We don't overspend, we don't go beyond our means, we're quite savvy with deals. I know, down the line, over the last couple of years, people have found that annoying. Remember when we didn't bid more for Jack Grealish, Sahad Berahino, the list goes on. We were quite frugal and sensible when it came to our spending. But another reason that this was inspired was from a tweet and something that I heard on the View from the Lane podcast from The Athletic. But first of all, I want to talk now about Tottenham's current ownership situation because, I've very much so had my criticisms for Daniel Levy. I have seen the negatives of his ownership. There's, when it comes to the Tottenham fan base, you're either Levy in or you're Levy out, or you don't really find many people in the middle. And last season, a lot of people were Levy out. I did a few videos, I remember, when I started the YouTube channel, basically saying Tottenham need to sell. Levy needs to sell, Enic, Joe Lewis need to leave the club because we weren't going anywhere. There were protests last season, if we all remember. The state of the football club was in a torrid place. But, with Ange Postecoglou arriving at the club, the atmosphere is lifted. And, with the signings hitting the ground running and a different structure, which I am going to get onto more in the video, it has seen a bit of a change of scenario and situation at the football club. But firstly, a bit of context about the current situation at Tottenham Hotspur. So this was last year in 2023, and an article read, Joe Lewis was removed as a person with significant control of Spurs in late 2022, leaving the club under the watch of Daniel Levy, who owns a 29.88% stake in Enic, with members of his family. Levy says he and Enic are open to selling Spurs, although he has stressed he is not seeking an exit. And that was, there was rumours that apparently Nasser Khalifi, part of QSI, Qatari sports investment, PSG, that lot, wanted to invest in Spurs, but Levy has said, it's going to take billions, more than Chelsea were acquired for because of the situation at Tottenham, because, it is a money-making empire that Levy has curated. But yeah, there's scenarios and situations where this football club has been set up for success. But before I get into that, here's a little message about how you can become a member of Sonny Talk Spurs. Hello and welcome to Sonny Talk Spurs, and now you can become a member on the channel and support me as I make wonderful Tottenham content for all you Spurs fans. and everyone else. Not only will this help the channel keep going, but for a small monthly fee, you can get exclusive content. This includes a weekly podcast called Nice One, Sonny. You can see what I did there. Where I will round out the biggest talking points from Tottenham Hotspur from the week and answer all your questions in a Q&A session as well. So make sure you always get your questions in my comment section with the hashtag #NiceOneSonny. And this means all you Spurs fans can get involved in the content that I make. There's also custom emojis and loyalty badges you can get for becoming a member. I am so loving making Tottenham Hotspur fan content. It's been a dream of mine for years, and finally being able to do it is so special for me. And I'd like to say a huge thank you if you've subscribed to Sonny Talk Spurs so far. It has really helped me on my journey so far. So click on the link just below me and you can become a Sonny Talk Spurs member today. Cheers. But earlier on I mentioned that there was a tweet that I wanted to reference. It was something that Jack Pitt-Brooke from The Athletic said on the View from the Lane podcast, a very class Tottenham podcast. I listen to it regularly. And this is what he had to say about Tottenham's current financial situation. So it says, in the 2021-22 season, Tottenham brought in £106 million in matchday revenue, second only to Manchester United, £111 million. In Spurs' last season at the old White Hart Lane, 2016-17, they brought in £45.3 million. And Tottenham have not yet published their 2022-23 accounts, which are expected next month or in early March, but it would not be a surprise if they have overtaken United and made more matchday revenue than anyone else. And that number will not include the 8-figure sum the club made for staging 5 sold-out Beyonce concerts in May and June last year. Their overall revenue for 2022-23 could be pushing the £500 million mark. So that's what Jack Pitt-Brooke did say on The Athletic podcast. It's just so interesting because, you know, I recently went over Tottenham in the summer and did their Skywalk. There's tours over there, the shop. There's just so much going on there. The go-karting arena that's meant to come. NFL. You know, there is so much going on there in a money-making wise that it is only a benefit to the football club. Fans will say, though, where will this money go? Will it be put into transfers? But we have seen in the January transfer window, there's not been a lot of movers and shakers in the market. You know, only Tottenham have made a permanent signing with cash. You know, they've actually signed Radu Dragusin. No one else has in the Premier League. And also, you know, we've made another signing in Timo Werner. And we're looking at other deals, you know, Antonio Nusa we're looking at. And I just think that, you know, it makes you wonder, like, in this modern era, or the era we're moving into, where football clubs are going to be more regulated when it comes to their finances and under a microscope. You're not going to have another Chelsea. You're not going to have another Manchester City. Newcastle are going to be under a microscope as well. Maybe the way that Tottenham is run is more logical and could help us in the long term. You look at that, you know, 500 million in revenue through, you know, concerts and through match day earnings. West Ham don't earn that. They don't own the rights to their stadium. It's shared between Nottingham Council and another organisation. So whenever someone buys a food or drink at the London Stadium, West Ham don't see any of that money. They're just leaseholders to the stadium. They actually pay to be in that stadium. Whereas we own everything in that area. You know, they're building hotels. They're, you know, making a monopoly per se, which, you know, some people will question. And, you know, I like to go to various pubs up and down the Tottenham High Road because that's my matchday experience. But, you know, a lot of people will say, well, is this actually perfect? Is this actually good? And I think it is more of a positive. You know, you want, you know, the football club to be able to back itself and financially fund itself. But a lot of people will say, but Levy has a track record for not putting the money back in the club. And think of the negatives about what Levy has done. We didn't spend in a whole calendar year. You know, sacked Mourinho on the eve of a final. You know, he has, you know, sacked Pochettino, brought in Mourinho, Conte. You know, there are stuff to be questioned of Levy. But then there are some fans who say, well, we were a mid-table club and we've pushed ourselves into the Big Six under Levy's tenureship, but we haven't won trophies. You know, it goes backwards and forwards like a game of tennis. But I think with the current structure of Tottenham, it does look like we're going to change. Levy's taken a back seat this season. You know, I know the Kane debacle was annoying from his, you know, from our point of view, looking at him, but the backward step, he's let Ange Postecoglou sort of run the football club, you know, day to day and let him, you know, be the media and the face. He's brought in Scott Munn, who's doing more of the footballing stuff day to day. He's brought in Johan Lange, who's now a technical director or scout. So he's in charge of transfers, it looks more like. And then he's brought in other scouts and a team. And then Fabio Paratici is an advisor. So you can see that Levy is keeping the business side of the club thriving. And that's where he's good, because he is one of the best business people in football. He can get a cracking deal. You know, the sponsorship with Nike, the sponsorship with AIA, you know, the shirts. It's just a fantastic deal for a club that, you know, financially has not been able to, you know, we've been punching above our weight with the likes of Manchester United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool and Arsenal, you know, but we are getting somewhere, you know, second behind Manchester United for matchday revenue. We know Manchester United's matchday revenue is that high because of the capacity of the stadium and it's Manchester United. So it's quite interesting. And, you know, I'm still on the fence. I'm not, you know, fully Levy in, but I do believe that the club is going in the right direction. And now they've got a manager and a squad in the club that is reflecting everything, and it's all quite a harmonious place. But let me know, do you think Daniel Levy is a perfect owner? Do you think he has turned a leaf over? I've done a few videos on this in the past saying, is he changing? And, you know, when I did that, I was like, oh, is he? But, you know, something might be happening. But more positive than negative, so that's good to report. So yeah, leave your comments with your opinions, and also like the video if you are new, subscribe to Sonny Talk Spurs, and hit the notification bell because it will let you know when I've gone live. And also become a member today, it will help me out brilliantly. Leave your questions for the Q&A on the video on the podcast Nice One Sonny with the hashtag Nice One Sonny as well. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed this. Quite a few videos have gone up over the weekend, so go and check those out as well. The links will be at the end of the video. But yeah, I'll see you pretty soon for another one. Ciao.